again, everyone, and welcome to LanguageCaster.com, the football language podcast for all learners of English who love the beautiful game of football. This is Damien, and I'm based here in London, and I'm one half of the LanguageCaster team. The other member, of course, is Damon, who is in Tokyo, Japan. Now, of course, we all know that Damon is a Liverpool supporter, and no doubt he will be looking forward to the 2022 Champions League semi-final first leg game between the Reds and Spanish side Villarreal, which takes place tomorrow. But I wonder if he watched the first semi-final between Manchester City and Real Madrid, which will be the focus of this football language podcast. Now, it was a great game between two informed sides, both leaders of their respective leagues. And so on this podcast, we look at some of the words and phrases used to describe the semi-final, including the verbs to edge and to pepper, as well as the phrase panenka.
Hola a todos, estáis escuchando LanguageCaster.com.
Now, we're going to be looking at these phrases from the BBC website report on this game. To edge. Manchester City edge Real Madrid in 7-goal thriller. We use the verb to edge in football to describe a narrow victory for one side over another. The game was a close affair, and probably won by only one goal, which was the case for this, the first semi-final of the 2022 Champions League, as Manchester City defeated Madrid by one goal. So, in this headline from the BBC website, we can say that Manchester City narrowly beat Real Madrid 4-3, a 7-goal thriller, and we have a whole podcast on this wonderful expression. Please check it out. And although City dominated much of the game, they only won by one goal, by a small margin. And so this is why the headline has used edge. Now, we could also use the phrase edge out, though I'm not so sure if we could use edge past, as this suggests that one side has knocked out the other. And this has not happened yet, as it's only the first leg. To pepper the goal. City delivered a magnificent display as they peppered Real's goal for long periods. So, if a team dominates another team and creates lots of shooting chances, we can say that they pepper their opponent's goal. To pepper the goal means to shoot on lots of occasions, to repeatedly shoot. And in the first part of this game, Manchester City fired in lots of shots. That's another way of saying pepper at the Real Madrid goal. This quote from the BBC report mentions that City had lots of shots on the Madrid goal. They peppered the goal. But they also go on to say that Madrid eventually found a way back into the game, which is why it was so exciting. Panenka. Now, we've described the panenka before here on LanguageCaster. It is a style of penalty named after the Czechoslovakian player Antonin Panenka, who scored the winning goal in the 1976 European Championship final shootout against West Germany. After this game, any player that coolly chips or dinks the ball over the keeper was said to have scored with a panenka. Although on TV this evening, I heard the commentator say that the Manchester City keeper had been panenkaed, the first time I had heard this as a verb. The BBC report uses the verb to chip to describe the way Benzema lifted the ball over the diving goalkeeper, and also described the French striker as having nerves of steel, which suggests that the player has no nerves, is not nervous at all. A really wonderfully cool piece of skill indeed.
Sie hören gerade LanguageCaster.com.
Now, if you want to ask any football language questions or simply say hello, then you can do so by adding a comment on our site here, or by using our forum, by sending an email to us at admin@languagecaster.com, or by looking for us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.
Tá tú a géisteacht le languagecaster.com.
Yep, you are listening to Languagecaster. That message was in Irish, and we'd love to hear from anyone else who might like to share the message. You are listening to languagecaster.com in any other language. And don't forget that there's a transcript to this podcast and lots of vocabulary support which you can access by coming along to our site here at languagecaster.com, a great resource for language learners and language teachers. Okay, that's it for this week's Football Language podcast, in which we looked at the phrases to edge, to pepper the goal, and panenka. What do you think will happen in the second leg of this tie, or indeed in the other semi-final? We'll be back with more football language very soon, and until then, enjoy all the football this week. Bye-bye.